All right, guys, I'm coming to you live from a little divey hotel in San Francisco here where I'm staying. I'm in town for a meeting yesterday in Sacramento. Went up, hung out with Mark Bell and Seaman and did the podcast. I did get my 27 repetitions with 425 on the deadlift on the trap bar, so I was pretty pleased with that. But I wanted to touch on a point. A lot of people are talking about this potential to lower human cholesterol down to like 20 milligrams per deciliter. Remember, the normal range is somewhere between 100 and 250 or something like that. And they want it down to 20. The thought is that if we lower cholesterol to as low as possible, no one will develop heart disease. And while that may be true, the potential downsides of that are significant. And the evidence that they're using to justify that are twofold. One is that there are rare genetic disorders where people will have very low cholesterol and they don't seem to die early. And what I would suggest, is that a genetic disease is not the same as a drug-induced physiological state or a diet-induced physiological state for that matter. And so they're very different. You can't compare genetic disease and assume everyone with just that same single marker is going to have the same outcome. And the other thing is, there are literally genetic diseases where people have high blood glucose and they do pretty well. So the argument could be, well, we should let blood glucose be high. And of course, we know that that's probably not optimal. The other piece of information, which I think is one of the most laughable, is that they will say that, a newborn infant when it's born's average cholesterol is something like 20 milligrams per deciliter. And so that's the target we should shoot for as adult human beings. Now, we have to realize that, how does an infant, a fetus, get its nutrition? Well, they don't eat anything, right? There's nothing going through their stomach. It's all coming from the placenta, from the maternal blood supply. And so there's something called the hepatic portal circulation. And so what happens normally when we eat food, it's absorbed through our intestines and it goes in the blood supply. That blood supply is typically called the portal vein. And that portal vein goes first to the liver, where it's then processed, detoxified, and then the nature's changed, and then the liver will often cause to be secreted different compounds. That's where we get a lot of 80% of our cholesterol being synthesized, as you guys recall. So this is a very different situation. And so what happens to babies once you start feeding them? And so there's a nice study looking at babies who are exclusively breastfed versus babies that had some sort of mixed diet or not exclusively breastfed. And what they found was that by 14 weeks of age, a breastfed baby's average total cholesterol was 204, right? And this baby is eating clearly what it's designed to eat. Breast milk. No one can make an argument that babies aren't designed to eat breast milk. And that their cholesterol shoots up over 200 on average, with a range between 150 and 250. So if we're going to make the argument that we should have baby LDL cholesterol, then should we stop breastfeeding children? Should we put little babies on, 6-month-old babies on statins? This is insane. So this is why that argument makes no sense to me. Because as soon as we start eating really anything as a human being, our cholesterol goes up, and that's how it's designed. This is what we're designed to have. We're not designed to have this ridiculously low cholesterol that people are talking about, give us injection force, maybe even a vaccine coming out for this. And so I don't know who would sign up for that. I think they'll probably test it on some poor population that doesn't know better and whatever, and run those trials on those people. And then they'll, we won't know the results for probably 20, 30 years or something like that. By that time, billions of dollars will have exchanged hands. And so I would caution, anyone that compares a genetic disease to environmentally induced situations, because they're not always the same, and certainly using the argument that little babies have low cholesterol when they're first born, and therefore so should we. It's a ridiculous argument. All right, guys. Well, last day to be 56. Tomorrow I'll be 57. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Let me know what you think.